Not going to promise you a Lambo, but I can say that this is how you can make $100,000 a year from selling beats online. If you're producing 2 beats a month, it's not going to be enough. If you are so romanticized about like
my art, my craft, and it has to be perfect,
and you take forever to produce, then this shit is not going to work for you. This is exactly how I did it. It's going to work 10 years from now, and it worked 10 years ago. Foundational marketing with this strategy is going to get you to where you want to be. In fact, if you take notes, you take action, I have no doubt, and in fact, I'd love to hear it in the comments section. Those of you that implement this the next 90 days have no doubt in my mind that with a free video on YouTube that you found, you're going to make over $1,000 selling beats online. But let's get into the meat and potatoes. All right, so as I'm always preaching, building a personal brand is super important. It's the time-money ratio. Most of you guys have more time than money, myself included when I first got started. And so it's all about building organically, and then we can talk about the paid ads. I know some of you guys are just like,
well, I bought this one program from this one guy and he said to run Facebook ads to get...
It doesn't work like that. Nobody's going to buy just because a beat is cool. Don't get me wrong, outlying situations, I shouldn't have said nobody, but people want to buy from people that they like, know, and trust. Back in the day, 2009 or so, I started uploading beat making videos on my YouTube channel, which, you pop those up on the screen, super cringeworthy. I invite you to go check them out. I think I still have them public, but I needed to get my name out there. In order to become a household name, in order to grow demand, you need to be in demand and you need to get your name in households, right? It's like pretty common sense. Dope beats, amazing instrumentals do not sell themselves. Even back when I first started making money with my music, everybody at that point was saying that the market was saturated. It's about building your attractive character, your personal brand, and getting your voice heard. Networking is so freaking important when it comes to the music industry and building up a career, and nobody talks about it, right? Because they think that networking is, oh, I went to this one event. Oh, I went to, South by Southwest. Like, networking is anytime you're talking to a stranger, you're talking about what they're doing, and then eventually talking about what you're doing. With that being said, building your personal brand builds leverage. Some of my good friends, Superstar O, Twan Beatmaker, Anno Domini, shout out to Wishmaster Beats. These people are doing everything in their power to build their brand. Give you a little bit of insight. Why do you think people watch interviews of all these artists and producers that we look up to give an interview of what that person is made of so we can connect? Humans want human connection. So the more you're out in front of everything, the more you're going to be able to gain attention and drive traffic. Now let's talk about traffic. Organic growth is the best way to start this. You can go and pay for ads. You can go pay for promoted spots on one of these platforms, which is fine and dandy. But until you know who your target audience is, until you know how to convert an organic sale into profitability that then pays for ads, you are pissing money away. So many of these guys are selling courses on paid ads for Facebook. You sell your beats by doing paid ads on YouTube. Like, you're going to generate a lot of traffic, but when it's all cold and they don't know who you are and they don't have a way to actually bond with you, build a relationship with you, get familiar, bare minimum with you, it's not going to be very high conversion rate. So out of every 1,000 people that come to your website, you're going to get maybe one sale. And I'm not saying that's for everybody, but on average, organic traffic converts much higher. But you know what? Let's talk about that. Let me ask, do you know
the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man?
Who your target market is? What genre they do? Maybe where they're located, where they spend the most time, their style, who they sound like, what playlists they want to get on Spotify? A lot of people don't know that.
Well, I make beats for everybody. I'm a Swiss Army knife. I can make pop, and then I make hip hop, and then I do some EDM. On the weekends, sometimes I do like rock, country inspired.
You're not going to succeed. I'll tell you why. You got to be known for your thing before you can expand, right? It's just like if you guys bump into me now, and then tomorrow I teach you how to work on cars, and the next day I'm teaching you how to build a birdhouse. I might be good at all those things, but you're coming to me for a specific thing. I want to be the best at that specific thing. Now, obviously there's outliers. You can make trap and drill and then maybe do some R&B, and it brings up a story. I started with hip hop and rap beats and instrumentals. Then I found personally, and I'm not dissing anybody, rappers are infuriating to work with. So I said, you know what? All these tire kickers, all these guys with big egos that are like, you should send me beats I'm going to try to blow you up. Go fuck yourself, dude.
Bruh.
I'm going to go to where the money is. So I shifted over to pop. I shifted over to dance. I shifted over to neo soul and R&B. Guess what? The money came. Not easy. I was going to say easily. None of this shit is easy at all. But if you don't like a certain target market because you're just having bad experiences, or it's slow, or you're just not enjoying maybe even the production side of things, shift. Newsflash, posting 2, 3, 4 beats a month you might as well just quit right now. It's not enough. It's like you being a blog writer and expecting to have a successful writing career and only writing 4 articles a month. Unless you're like the number one guy, I doubt that that's going to work for you. It's about production. You are a producer. You need to produce. So look at your production schedule. For example, between 2009 and 2017, almost every week, I uploaded 5 to 8 new beats a week. Right now, if you're scratching your head, how the hell could you do? It's called being skilled. It's called refining the process. It's called having templates, starting points, and not overthinking things. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not trying to oversimplify this. Some of my beats that took me 45 minutes, some of you guys can relate. Let me know in the comments. Took me 45 minutes. I was this close to dragging it to the little trash bin and deleting it. Those were like the highest selling, top revenue generating beats that I ever did. The ones that took me 2-3 weeks usually were the ones that collected dust. Nobody really understood them because I was a perfectionist. And don't get me wrong, you could spend time on productions or instrumentals and beats and compositions that take longer, but you can't let that slow you down. You have to give the market variety. You have to give the market options. You have to give the market what they're asking for. So production schedule, if you can get on that, I'm not saying you have to do 5 to 8 a week. Start with a few a week. Just like if you want to build a successful YouTube channel, you can't do it with 3 videos a year, guys. You know that. All right, so that's not a problem for you. You're like, Adam, I'm on it, spending time, making beats. I have all these things. Where do I make money? How do I sell these? You have to find a distribution channel, right? So 2 off the top of my head, BeatStars, as well as Airbit. Not associated or affiliated with either one of them. When I started, I was on SoundClick. It's still in existence and there's people still making plenty of money. The distribution channel's not as important as the customer experience, the user experience, the purchasing experience. Because if somebody gets on a page, they don't know how to buy, they're not going to. You need to be able to say, these are what I have to offer. We'll talk about how to contact them and all that here in a minute. But you have to have somewhere that's reliable, that's fast loading, and that after they purchase their instrumental, it gets sent to them right away because people don't want to wait. A lot of artists that I've worked with are buying these beats when they're in a studio session. They might have downloaded the free tagged version and now they're ready to record and they don't want to have to wait for an email. So you have your personal brand that's being built. You have some organic traffic and interest in you and what you have to offer. Speaking of what you have to offer, you're uploading beats, holding yourself accountable, following through on your commitment to do this, go all in on this. And obviously you're using something like BeatStars or Airbit, and maybe you've spent a few dollars or the time to figure out how to make that page very professional and just look A+, because perception matters. You could have the best beats in the world, and if somebody goes to a page that looks like it was put together by a 3-year-old, nobody's going to really take you seriously, unfortunately. Or they're going to instantly think that your beats should be less expensive than everybody else, and we don't want that either. Now, back in the day, I was a corporate account manager for Office Depot. It was like a call center job. I absolutely hated it, but it was all about smile and dial. We had to call X amount of people every single day, and we got hung up on a lot. You guys, myself, we've hung up on these people before. But at the end of the day, I made sales every single day. And I had great conversations with some people every single day. And that's what we have to do online. I'm not talking about spamming. In fact, I'll break down exactly how I did that. So what did I do? Well, I took that same concept, that same premise, my same responsibilities that I had when I worked at Office Depot for somebody else, and I applied them to my business. I said, I have to look at this like a business. So I worked my way up very quickly to about 100 on average, 100 messages a day. I know some of you guys' heads just exploded. You don't have to start there. Start with 5, build up to 20, build up to 50. You have to refine your process. One thing I say all the time is soft skills need to be developed. Those of you that are watching this right now and have had a job in retail, hospitality, you've been a server at a restaurant, you have an unfair advantage because you know how to talk to people. Those that don't know how to talk to people, I would suggest go work part-time at a retail location. Go get a job at a restaurant. I know some of you guys are like,
well, I'm watching this because I want to do music full time.
Yes. You take the time, you take the effort to learn the skill sets that are required to get to where you want to be. So I digress. I messaged on average 100 people a day on social media, starting with what I call warm-up discussions. I'd spend a couple seconds, look at what they're up to, make a genuine comment about them, and just sit back and wait for a response. On average, once I got into a flow, I would average 50 to 75 beat leases, where you have an instrumental and someone leases it, essentially renting it a week. On average, $24.99 is what I was charging. Sometimes I would do packages and stuff, but if you look at basic math, 50 to 75, $29.99 per sale, that averages between $1,250 and $1,850-ish per week. what does that look like? If I did nothing else, if I never sold an exclusive, if I never got a sponsorship, if I never did sync, that would be 65 to just under 65,000, just to like 99,000, just under $100,000 just in beat leases. Is it easy? No. Can you do it? 1,000%, because there was plenty of weeks that I did more than that. But on average, 50 to 75. Here's the thing. You have to build these things up, and tracking, obsessive tracking on what you're doing to generate these sales is key. So with that being said, I got real nerdy, even though I'm not great at it, and I built out spreadsheets because I needed to know who I talked to. I didn't want to sit there embarrassed when I reach out to somebody. They're like, yeah, I just talked to you last week. Right? So spreadsheets are so important. So I'm going to put up something on the screen right now, and these are the categories. These are the columns that I had on my personal spreadsheets. Use this as a base and make these your own, and I'll explain the importance as we go. So the first thing, platform. What platform was I reaching out to them on? What was their username? What was their real name or artist name? What was their location, if I could find that? Their genre, sounds similar to. Their email. Then from there, I had a process tracker with color codes for the first message, replied, warm up, pitched, sale, follow up, not interested. Here's why that matters. If I reach out to you on a Tuesday and this is all your information, and I go back on Thursday and I see, oh, he hasn't followed up yet, I would know that instantly just from looking at that color code. So yes, I want you guys to be incredibly microscopic on tracking these things, because efforts untracked don't lead to any like achievement. If you're just like,
I'm doing this day to day.
Well, what's your goal?
I don't know.
You know how many times I hear that? I don't know. I want to be successful. That's not a goal. That's an emotional state that you want to find yourself in, because success has a different definition for every single one of us. If you have the spreadsheet, you can go on Google Sheets right now. I think I had it on Microsoft Excel for Mac. Back in the day, I had like a cracked version. Don't tell Bill Gates. But we do all of our spreadsheets now for the businesses in Google Sheets. It's free. You go, boom, 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 and you could do this in less than 5 to 10 minutes. All right, so just a couple minutes ago, I broke down how much I was averaging from beat leases. Now I understand if you're new to this, you might not understand what a lease is. Imagine having a car, and instead of selling the car outright to somebody, you rent it to people. And you're taking that beat, that instrumental, and renting it to several different artists so that they can either try it out. Maybe they don't have a budget and they're just going to use it in a kind of a minimal sense, see if it takes off, see if people like it, and then possibly come back to purchase the exclusive. Exclusive rights, typically, everybody's contracts are a little bit all over the place, but exclusive rights is that artist has exclusive rights to that beat. So you can't resell it after that. You still get your cut. You still get your royalties from it. It's not like, and I've seen contracts where the producer just sells out the entire 100% rights. They don't get any publishing. They don't get any right. Like, don't do that. I don't think that's a great idea. Anyway, I digress. Leasing beats is a great way to be able to take one product and get it out there over and over and over again. And then when you find that the life cycle of that beat is slowed down, that's when I would typically offload the exclusive rights. So just for basic math, if I had one instrumental that I was in love with that was leased to 200 or 300 people at $25 a piece, you can put that math up on the screen right now because I'm not doing it in my head. And then somebody says, Adam, I want to buy the exclusive rights. My average exclusive rights in that time frame, 2009 to 2017, was anywhere from $750 to about $1,500. There's outliers, higher, lower. Sometimes I would offload old beats that never really gained momentum for $150 to $500 or something. And again, your pricing is your pricing. It's just telling you what I did. But the thing is, those exclusive sales now cap it off, and you're on to the next thing as you're as you're cycling in new instrumentals, as we talked about earlier. Now, I want to throw in something that I didn't do. I wish I would have. I never thought about doing it. And I know a lot of my producer friends that are killing it right now are doing this. They're taking their catalog or a portion of their catalog and uploading it to a DSP like Spotify or Apple Music. There's so many different people out there that are looking for royalty-free instrumentals. There's rappers that are just looking for something to rap on. And from there, you can work deals. From there, they can download it. You can get streaming from that. I mean, there's producers out there that are making a healthy income just from getting a ton of streams on their instrumental uploads. And there's an easy way of doing this. Now, hands down, one of the most affordable easy, effective ways of getting your music up on Spotify, getting it up on Apple Music and Deezer and Amazon and Google and everywhere that you want to be is by using my good friends, DistroKid. For less than $2 a month, you can get your music up there, unlimited uploads. There's even a legacy option where if you don't want to pay DistroKid anymore, you just pay one fee and then it lives there forever, which I know a lot of my students absolutely love. They have a ton of different content tools. And again, for less than $2 a month, why wouldn't you consider DistroKid? Go to distrodiscount.com for the best price right now that you're going to find online. Distrodiscount.com. Let's get back to it. Now, what's really going to help you as far as building a sustainable career, not just having a cool 2 months of sales, like a sustainable career selling beats and instrumentals online, is building a great relationship and great rapport with your current customers. Nothing is easier than getting a repeat sale from somebody that likes you, is loyal to your brand, and it feels good about what they do with you. Right? So one thing you have to do, in my opinion, is as you're building out your email list, which, side note, if you want me to do an entire video on how to do lead capture and lead magnets and how to build an email list, like, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to do that another time. What you have to do is build out 2 lists. Build one for prospects, one for actual paying customers. Because now you have the ability to, every time you're reaching out, have these people done business with you? Have they, just kicked the tires, or are they a super loyal customer? You want to talk to both segments of those lists completely differently. Because if you've already done business with me, I'm a different person than if I'm just trying to build that relationship. Because now it's not just like we're acquaintances that met at a day job day one. Now we're friends, we're hanging out on the weekends, and it's a much warmer, more personalized conversation, and you can give them exclusives. I can't tell you how many times, even after I stopped making beats full time, I had a huge catalog. I mean, I still do. And I would send out an email to my entire list and say, like, hey, not doing leases. This isn't going to be available anywhere online. This is going to be exclusive only. First person to, offer $750 or $1,000 gets it. Email me back if you're interested. 9 times out of 10, those beats would be sold within 3 days. Just throw it out to the list, because the list is warm. The list is your hottest prospects and people that already trust you. They don't have the skepticism. They don't have the worry, because just like hanging out with your boys, you know what to expect. Whether they're a douche a little bit here and there, you know what to expect. And that's what your audience deserves. One thing you guys have to understand, this system works incredibly well. And if there's any aspect of it that you want me to deep dive, let me know in the comments and I'll make a follow-up video. Here's the thing. Do not spam people. I know one thing that you're going to tell me in the comments, I don't care about that many people. How could you, possibly reach out to that many people? Well, if you had a bakery, you're going to get sick of telling people about your brownies and your cakes and your cupcakes? No, it's your product. Your instrumentals are your product. And if you're not excited to tell people about it day in and day out, get the fuck out of the music business, because it's not going to work. Building relationships, learning how to talk to people, and talking to enough people to generate the sales, and then we can talk about ads. Because if you're selling 10 beats a week, you have a little bit of money to then put back into ads. We can talk about the promotional side of BeatStars and Airbit, running ads on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and you name it, right? We can do that. But until you have the foundation started, the vast majority of all the income I made selling beats online came organically. And then the conversions were even easier once I started putting money behind, because people already recognized my name, and it didn't take so much to convince them to come check me out. If you guys have any follow-up questions, hit me up in the comments below. Appreciate you watching.